Following quite a while of expectation and difficult work by NASA's OSIRIS-REx, starting points otherworldly understanding asset recognizable proof and security, Regolith Wayfarer Group, a container of rocks and residue gathered from space rock Bennu at long last is on the planet. It arrived at 8:52 a.m. MDT 10:52 a.m. EDT on Sunday in a designated region of the Branch of Protection's Utah test and preparing reach close to Salt Lake City. In something like 90 minutes the case was moved by helicopter to an impermanent tidy room set up in a shed on the preparation range where it presently is associated with a non-stop progression of nitrogen. Getting the example under a nitrogen cleanse, as researchers call it, was one of the OSIRIS-REx group's most basic errands today. Nitrogen is a gas that doesn't connect with most different synthetic substances, and a constant progression of it into the example holder inside the container will keep out natural impurities to leave the example unadulterated for logical investigations. The return tests gathered from Bennu will help researchers overall make disclosures to more readily grasp planet development and the beginning of organics and water that prompted life on the planet, as well as advantage all of humankind by studying possibly risky space rocks. Congrats to the OSIRIS-REx group on a truly flawless mission, the primary American space rock test return ever, which will extend how we might interpret the beginning of our nearby planet group and its development. Also, Bennu is a possibly unsafe space rock, and what we gain from the example will assist us with better comprehension the kinds of space rocks that could come our direction, said NASA Chairman Bill Nelson. With OSIRIS-REx, mine send-off in a long time, DART's one-year commemoration, and Lucy's most memorable space rock approach in November, space rock fall is going full bore. Once more these missions demonstrate that NASA does huge things. Things that motivate us and join us. Things that show nothing is past our span when we cooperate. The Bennu test, an expected 8.8 ounces, or 250 grams, will be moved in its unopened canister via airplane to NASA's Johnson Space Center in Houston on Monday, September 25. Curation researchers there will dismantle the canister, extricate and gauge the example, make a stock of the stones and residue, and, over the long haul, disseminate bits of Bennu to researchers around the world. The present conveyance of a space rock test, a first for the U.S., worked out as expected thanks to the huge exertion of many individuals who somewhat coordinated the space apparatus excursion since it sent off on September 8, 2016. The group then directed it to landing in Bennu on December 3, 2018 through the quest for a protected example assortment site somewhere in the range of 2019 and 2020, example assortment on October 20, 2020. And during the return trip home beginning on May 10, 2021. Today denotes an exceptional achievement for the OSIRIS-REx group as well as for science all in all, said Dante Loretta, head examiner for OSIRIS-REx at the College of Arizona Tucson. Effectively conveying tests from Bennu to Earth is a victory of cooperative creativity and a demonstration of what we can achieve when we join with a typical reason. In any case, we should not neglect, while this might feel like the finish of a mind-boggling section, it's really only the start of another. We currently have the exceptional chance to break down these examples and dive further into the insider facts of our nearby planet group. Subsequent to heading out billions of miles to Bennu and back, the OSIRIS-REx rocket delivered its example case toward Earth's environment at 6:42 a.m. EDT 4:42 a.m. MDT. The rocket was 63,000 miles 102,000 kilometers from Earth's surface at that point, around 33% the separation from Earth to the Moon. Going at 27,650 miles per hour 44,500 kf, the container penetrated the air at 10:42 a.m. EDT 8:42 a.m. MDT, off the shore of California at an elevation of around 83 miles 133 kilometers. In something like 10 minutes it arrived on the tactical reach. En route, 2 parachutes effectively sent to balance out and dial the container back to a delicate 11 miles per hour 18 kf at score. The entire group had butterflies today, yet that is the engaged expectation of a basic occasion by a totally ready group, said Rich Consumes, project supervisor for OSIRIS-REx at NASA's Goddard Space Flight Center in Greenbelt, Maryland. As far as we might be concerned, this was the worldwide championship, 10-inning bases stacked second, and this group nailed it. Radar, infrared and optical instruments in the air and on the ground followed the case to its arrival facilitates inside a 36-mile by 8.5-mile 58-kilometer by 14-kilometer region on the reach. In no less than a few minutes, the recuperation group was dispatched to the container's area to examine and recover it. The group tracked down the container with everything looking great at 9:07 a.m. MDT 11:07 a.m. EDT, and afterward resolved it was protected to approach. In no less than 70 minutes, they wrapped it up for safe vehicle to an impermanent clean room on the Reach where it stays under consistent oversight and a nitrogen cleanse. NASA Goddard gives in general mission the executives, frameworks designing, and the well-being and mission confirmation for OSIRIS-REx. The College of Arizona Tucson drives the science group and the mission science perception arranging and information handling. Lockheed Martin Space in Littleton, Colorado, assembled the shuttle and gives flight activities. Goddard and Kinetex Aviation are liable for exploring the OSIRIS-REx shuttle. Curation for OSIRIS-REx, including handling the example when it shows up on the planet, will occur at NASA Johnson. Worldwide associations on this mission incorporate the OSIRIS-REx laser altimeter instrument from CSA, the Canadian Space Office, and Space Rock Test Science cooperation with JAXA's, the Japan Aviation Investigation Organization Hayabusa 2 mission. OSIRIS-REx is the third mission in NASA's New Wildernesses program, oversaw by NASA's Marshall Space Flight Center in Huntsville, Alabama for the organization's Science Mission Directorate in Washington.